It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television. You are watching First Warning Live, but we are looking at snowfall totals. I'm so confused. I thought for a moment we had snow. We did, but you probably don't have these anymore. These were yesterday's totals. Newport News had nearly 7 inches, but I get ahead of myself. Let me go back a step. Can I go back a step? I think I can. Let me go back and start over with the expectation. That would be the fact that we are expected to give out, we're going to give away free pizza this very live stream. It's a Tuesday. We have an abbreviated week, but we're sponsored by Marco's because we get hungry from time to time. We're going to focus on all things weather. What's great about tomorrow is it's going to be warmer. Yay! For those of you that are on Team Spring. But it's going to be windy. Warmer, windy, and Wednesday. You like the alliteration? I've been working hard on that alliteration for us. But the snowfall that we picked up yesterday, Menchville, I believe it is, they had almost 7 inches. Poquoson, 3.8. Gloucester, 3.5. Suffolk, 3 inches. Portsmouth, 2 inches. Now, some of you say, I didn't get that, or the other retort is, I had more than that. In fact, some of you, I got a note from Brett James, and he finally figured this out. I believe he's in Yorktown. I present to you 5 inches or more, maybe almost 6, 5.5. Looks like Yorktown. Brett James, thank you. I give you kudos for figuring out what I was trying to do yesterday is present the pictures that you take. All you have to do is attach it to the comment. It's super easy, but I'm really glad that we got a picture in there. Hampton was 3, Virginia Beach 2. Norfolk International, I should point out, was 0.8, so it was under an inch. I'm going to focus on that in a moment. But maybe one of the higher totals would have been around Wakefield. They got 7.5, at least from our friends, the National Weather Service. Rushmere in Isle of Wight had about, how much did they have? They had a little bit more, like 4.5, I believe, is what they had final total. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is the fact they got cold because of the snowpack, the snow cover. You see these temperatures in the teens. When you have ice and snow underfoot, you can get a lot colder, and that's where we were this morning. Very, very cold in some parts. I'm talking about the 19, 18, these areas here got walloped with some really cold air this morning. While Norfolk, I mean, it didn't even dip below freezing, at least not so far. Manio was 35. That was a warm spot, all things considered. But we did drop down to 33. Norfolk at 7:51 this morning, finished at 39 as expected, as forecasted. I said about 39, but to be fair, Virginia Beach was 40. But many of us didn't get out of the 30s today, especially where snow was more present. And that 39 degrees was achieved at 3:20 this afternoon. If you're on the call, I'd love to say hi to you. I know that we were talking about this opportunity. It's a short week for me because I would have some time off. But it's interesting to note that one of the things we're going to be doing away at the top of the hour, we're going to give away some free pizza. But in the meantime, if you're looking for something and you're hungry tonight, you can't do better than a $5 Pozzoli. Whether it's the pepperoni and sausage, which is my personal favorite, that's the second one there, or the chicken bacon ranch or buffalo chicken. All you have to do is use our promo code WTKR, David, that's my first name, and our call letters, and you'll get you essentially half off your Pozzoli. Some of those are $8.95 or $9.95. I can't keep track of the pricing. But $5 for a Pozzoli is sweet, and there are 6 locations that will redeem that Pozzoli, 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk. And because we're giving away free pizza tonight, Marco's, you go to WTKR.com to sign up. Normally we issue them out on Thursdays, but being holiday time frame, whether it be snow or whether it be pizza, we're going to talk about it all. But the Pozzoli looks really good. We're giving away pizza for a year certificate, so if you win, your name will go up here, and you'll have 12 months. Count them. You can start them up this month and then go through November next year, but it's one large pizza with one topping every month for free. You gotta love that. And if you do win the pizza, you can share it with all your neighbors. The Pozzoli's on the left, the Magnifico is on the right. Always want to satisfy your appetite. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos. All right, so we're talking about the temperatures as I'm loading in new comments. If you have a new comment, this would be a great time to magnify your voice. Maybe you have a picture that's just lying around. Maybe you have nothing but maybe have just some ice on the sidewalk now. Because you know what? A lot of it disappeared under the sunshine during the course of today, at least in Norfolk. That's just kind of the way it goes, but if you're on the call, this would be a great time. I see some new comments that are trickling in, and Taj Brown, I think, has a comment here. In fact, if I come back on screen here, he says they were beautiful. Now, I don't know if he's referring to, Marilyn is saying that she looked at some of the pictures on the WTKR photographers group. I always like to direct people there. If you want to see some really good photographers, we've got them. I think it's 7,000 strong and growing. But Marilyn may have seen some of these. She said, I love all your snowfall photos. Missed us here in East Tennessee. Yeah, they didn't get much in East Tennessee, but there's still time, right? This is the early part of winter. I said it would be front-end loaded, and that's what we're getting in many cases. Kim Thompson-Jones would like to wish everybody a happy evening. Good evening, David, and First Warning Live friends. So very happy to have you all here. I do have some pizza winners I'm going to announce at 8 o'clock straight up. So I have 15 minutes to get through a lot of information in a short period of time. Now, Norfolk International, if you're playing the home game version, well, how much snow have we had since the 8th of December? That was yesterday. An inch. Now, if I had said we're going to get an inch of snow before the 8th of December, some of you would have thought, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Some of you might. If we go back to Halloween, when I started talking about, with 3 to 7 is where I expected, maybe even higher, based on years where we didn't have any landfalling hurricanes. I just took a group sample. The ones that had La Nina in effect, we had over 10 inches of snow in Norfolk in those correlated years. But it's interesting, so far we've had an inch for the year. Now, obviously we didn't have as much as our northern neighbors in the peninsulas, but an inch is an inch, right? 0.2 occurred in the pre-dawn hours of Veterans Day, officially at the airport now, 0.8. Headlines, let me get you through tonight. Warmer and windy tomorrow, highs will be in the low 50s. So if you still have snow on the car, you still have ice on the sidewalk, I think you're going to have a hard time maintaining that first thing tomorrow afternoon, because we'll be warming back up in the 50s, and it will be a wind-driven warmth that comes to town. We're still chilly Thursday and Friday in the 40s, and then the frigid air. Oh, you mean like my freezer? No, I mean like the frigid air, like from Canada, that I've been talking about for days, if not weeks. That all comes in next week, and I mean like Sunday afternoon next week, and then we drop like a stone. That's how fast this temperature is going to drop, and I hope you're ready. I got another note from Tommy Hicks. I think he says we need, he's being honest. I like the candor. He says we need a real snow in Norfolk, not the stuff yesterday that didn't count. You know, it was funny because when it was still snowing, Mike, around 4 o'clock, I was doing the news, and we had Tony Nargi, meteorologist, on the roof, reporting live from the roof. Some people were writing in the comments. They said, oh, this is just a tease. It's not sticking. I said, wait till it gets dark, right? We had a snow-covered scope. For those of you who know our minor hockey league arena here in Norfolk, and the grass, the courtyard was completely covered. But now it's gone. It melted. We did get up to 39, but some may still have some remnants of snow in Williamsburg, Yorktown, from our friend Brett. I imagine there's still some snow in areas, and I think a lot of it's going to be rapidly melting tomorrow. And then the frigid air arrives next week. By the way, it's 7:47. Let me show you where we are right now. Clouds will be in and out. Think of the next 24 hours as a mix of sun and clouds, or a mix of clouds and stars. Because right now we have clouds, but by the time we hit 11 o'clock tonight, the clearing west of Wakefield will move over, and then we'll get some clearing, and then more clouds arrive around sunrise. But the low is well off the coast, and we have more clouds that are back here around Louisville that'll be here tomorrow morning. We got a little break in the cloud cover here, which will be around 11 o'clock, but right now it's basically clouds. So that's kind of the playing field. And if you look at the current conditions, oftentimes the METAR codes will only tell you what's below 5,000 feet. Most of the clouds we have are above 5,000 feet, so it looks like we've got moonlit skies everywhere. Not the case. Not the case at all. We've got clouds. Now, Wednesday's planner looks like this. I really want to accentuate the winds, because the winds will be out of the southwest. That's a warm weather direction, and they'll be gusting 35 to 40. That's my expectation, at least at Norfolk International. So if they're 10 to 25, it's a warm weather direction that'll push us up to 52. The normal high is 56. So even with that little wind support, little backup, it's like get on a walkie-talkie, need some backup. We're getting some wind backup, but it only takes us to 52. It's not that warm, but it's warmer than the other days around it. And hence, we'll find plenty of clouds perhaps in the morning, and then maybe partly sunny for the second half of the day. It will ebb and flow. Let me give you an idea of the wind gusts, right? Because by 11 o'clock tonight, it might turn breezy. It may not be breezy now. In fact, we have pretty light winds now. But as of, say, 11 o'clock tonight, we should start to see the wind pick up a wee bit. That's 11 o'clock tonight. Now, if you look at the winds by 7 a.m., They're gusting maybe potentially around 27 along the eastern shore, 22 in the peninsula. So the winds are sticking and picking back up. They're light and variable right now, so really not an issue. But again, by the time we hit the afternoon, by 11 a.m., let's say midday, they could be closing in on 30 in the eastern shore. Some of these red areas would be in excess of 30. I think it's 35 to 40. Take it to 2 o'clock, it's already 33. And again, this is model driven. I think there are other factors that will be involved. So just prepare that if tomorrow is your trash pickup day, your belongings might be in your neighbor's yard. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's fastened so it doesn't blow down the street. Maybe you've got some Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts and the wrappings, and you don't want it blowing down the street because everybody in the neighborhood will know what you bought. You don't want that necessarily to be known. So tomorrow's your trash pickup day. Just know that it's going to be a rather windy day, but rather warm, all things considered. It is 7:50. I got to keep moving. I got to show you this. This is the weekend cold front. So if we're looking at the clock here, this says Saturday, right? 1 o'clock. Saturday, 1 o'clock, we've got the snow in Indiana, snow in Ohio, and moving into Pennsylvania. Now we've moved into Saturday at 5. I've got us under a mostly sunny Saturday. Great day, if I might add, a little advertisement for the Christmas Village. We talked about that. I was there last Thursday. They have another round of it this weekend, christmasvillage.com. There's also the Colonial, the Grand Illumination at Colonial Williamsburg, again this weekend. So if you haven't done all your shopping, which I haven't done all your holiday parties, which many of us haven't, but if there are other things you're looking to do, there are things that you can do. And I think Saturday is really good looking. So mostly sunny on Saturday. But suddenly, what happens on Sunday, because this is a representative of 11:30 Saturday night, and it's snowing pretty good in parts of the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. Then all of a sudden this front comes through. Oh my goodness, this front means business. This is like 100% full stop cold air, and it's dropping temperatures like a stone. And if you need more evidence of just how cold it is, I mean, granted, everything being considered, it's below freezing right now in Suffolk. It's below freezing in Chesapeake, 31, and it's below freezing in Gloucester at 31. That's our current reading. And we got wind chills that aren't moving much because the winds aren't even much of a factor. But where you will see some cold air is tonight. We'll drop down to about 26 Franklin, 27 in Bertie County for Windsor, Ahoskie, and Suffolk, but about 37 for Duck. So it won't be as cold here. Virginia Beach will be about freezing, and we'll probably dip in the upper 20s easily for Gloucester by tomorrow morning. Those are my expected lows tonight. 30 for Newport News and Norfolk, about 28 Matthews, 37 for Corolla and Nags Head. So the wind chill tomorrow morning, I say about 8 o'clock, will still feel like about 26. It's not going to be a very warm day, at least in the morning, but there will be a little bit of a sense in the afternoon. Now, this might shock you. Maybe nothing shocks you if you're a weather fan like me, but look at these numbers, right? You see, well, everything seems pretty tame. It's 28 in Minneapolis, 61 in Dallas, but what's happening up here? Ooh, it turns purple. What does that represent, do you think? 20s? Teens? How about single digits? How about sub-zero, where you start to see some white in some of the areas right up here? You're talking about bone-chilling cold. And what if some of that, modified as it may be, tries to work its way down to the Great Lakes? Do you think like a domino effect, it's going to have an effect on Hampton Roads? Of course it will. Of course it will. And you're going to feel it on Monday. You're going to feel it on Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, especially, that's when the Hanukkah starts. So by Sunday evening, when Hanukkah and they're lighting the menorah, and you're going to start to feel, outside anyway, the bitter cold air that's bottled up here coming down. And I've talked about this many times before. If you go back to some of the sudden stratospheric warming events I've been talking about, this was really evident on December 1st. And I said it usually takes 30 days, which would be January 1st, it'd be New Year's, that we would feel some of this cold air. But you say, wait a minute, I thought red is warm. It is. It's very warm. Just north of Lake Superior on December 1st, it was like in Fuego. It was very, very hot in this area of Canada. But what's amazing is that this is, again, to be clear, this is at this picture's about 11 miles up, but that range of 6 miles to 31 miles up is considered the stratosphere. And when you get warm air that rises, naturally occurring, it pushes that cold air down. And it usually takes 30 days to as much as 40 to make its presence known here, because it has to come down. It's not like it's like a time-release vitamin C capsule, or just like I've said before, the paddleboard example. I've said this many times, but people may not have seen it. You might think the forecast is good, the models look good. I've got people thinking that Christmas is going to be warm. I don't think that. Simply because of the fact of what I see here. This would put us around January 1st. So I think Christmas to New Year's will be bone-chilling cold. And there's more evidence from that day after day. There's, I believe, December 2nd on the screen. That's December 1st. December 1st, I believe here we've got December 2nd, 3rd. There's still a lot of evidence that the stratosphere has been warming and the cold air is going to come knocking. It's going to come knocking. So that means if you need firewood, you need to plan on your heating. Maybe you get on a budget plan with Dominion Energy or whoever you need to make sure that you're cared for this winter season. Winter is going to rear its ugly head early. It's already done that. I've been saying that since Halloween. It's not just because we got snow yesterday that suddenly, all of a sudden now, this weather guy is talking about an early start to winter. Been talking about it for weeks. And those who watch this stream know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why we call ourselves First Warning. By the way, temperature outlook for the next 6 to 10 days shows it's cold. No surprise. Puts many of us in the Northeast very, very cold. Now, logically, like the person on the stand-up paddleboard, you say, oh, it's above normal here. This will just come over here by Christmas. But what if something stronger comes surging down here? Guess what? Guess what's going to happen? The models will eventually catch up. They haven't caught up yet, because they don't look up at 6 to 11 to 31 miles up in the sky. But they will when it finally starts to show signs of coming and it creeps back down. Then all of a sudden the models are, oh, sure, it's cold around Christmas and New Year's. But you would have heard it here first. Does that make sense? Just trying to make it easy, trying to make it palatable. By the way, it's 7:56. It's almost time for pizza. Do you want to check in with comments? Let's see here. Tangi. Is that your name? Tangi. It's a great name. I wish I could post a picture of what we have here in Michigan. I'm imagining if you're in Michigan, Tangi, you probably you would embarrass us with the amount of snow you probably have up there. I know it's been snowing hard in Minnesota, Minneapolis. I know they've had some interesting weather there as well. Taj Brown says he's got a comment. He says the wind does make it worse. I would agree, Taj. Does make it worse, especially if you're not wearing the layers. And I always use that thermostat. For me, it's pumping gas. If I have to pump gas for 3 or 4 minutes and I'm not wearing the right jacket, you feel it. You feel it and you're like, I got to get inside. I don't want to leave the thing running. I got to finish pumping the gas, then get in the vehicle. It's tough. It's tough, no doubt. All right, so let me get back to the weather here. It's now 7:57. We're almost time for pizza. Precipitation chances the next couple days pretty muted. Friday, however, is an interesting day. 20% chance. It might go higher, but right now I think it's going to be moving into some drier air. This is more likely to be stray flakes in the peninsula, maybe a stray snow shower, and more drops for areas from Norfolk south. No surprise, right? That's what we seemingly had yesterday. But Friday, there's just enough to maybe put it to a 20 or a 30% chance. Right now I left it 20 and a 10% chance on Sunday. It looks like it's splitting on Sunday. The cold air is coming, but you got to remember cold air is inherently dry. It's very dry. That's why we get dry skin. I need some lotion. I need some lotion. You know what I'm saying? Cold air doesn't necessarily mean snow. And I think by the time we hit Sunday to Monday, it'll be really, really cold. Now the normal high is 56. I got us at 52 on Wednesday. I got us 45 on Thursday and Friday, 50 on Saturday, and then we're dropping like a what? A stone. We start to fall. That 47 could come before or around midday. So by the time we get to the evening, we're back in the low 30s. And by the time we get to, say, Monday morning, about 22, 23, that's easy. That would be easy to achieve. I would suspect there's probably more teens, upper teens, like we saw in Wakefield this morning. We could be back there in many areas in inland Virginia and inland North Carolina. All right, it is 7:58. I'll check with the comments, and then we're going to give away some pizza. Let's see here. I got Despine, if I have this right. I got some notes watching us live in Virginia. I'm here at the WTKR TV studios in our podcast room. Paige says here, Paige Donovan has a comment. Says, me too, Portsmouth, Virginia to Grand Blanc, Michigan. Lots of snow. So for those of you that wanted an early white Christmas, you got your wish. For those of you that maybe have had too much snow, I'm thinking about those 4, 5, 6, 7-inch amounts. You're probably like, okay, I'm over it. I'm ready to, there's enough stress in the calendar this time of year. I don't need any more. I get it. There is that chance of refreezing tonight. We talked about the lows. If you still have ice on the sidewalk or snow in the front yard, just watch where you step tomorrow morning because it's still going to be pretty cold. All right, so let's reset because I want to reset. It's time to give away some pizza. And I know we like to do this on many occasions, but we're going to do something special tonight. This is the first round. We're going to give away free pizza for individuals, and then I'm going to give free pizza for a year. So how this works, in no particular order, our sales team at WTKR randomly selects these names, so I really have no skin in the game who wins, but I am excited when somebody does win. And I can tell you that the pizza winners are in no particular order, so let's go ahead and get the first two on the screen. Drum roll, please. These are individual pizzas. Janice Bell, if you are within the sound of my voice, Janice, I got good news for you. You're not only getting a large pizza from Marco's. If you've never tried them, it will be sent to you in the mailbox. You got pizza in the mail. It's a certificate, mind you. I mean, it's like, don't throw it away. It's not like they're trying to sell you anything. They want to give you some free food. Keith Brooks from Hampton, you've been also included, and it will be mailed to you. So congratulations to both Janice Bell and Keith Brooks from Virginia Beach and Hampton. Now, number 2 is there. Number 3 and 4 actually jumped ahead. Pammy Williams from Virginia Beach and Richard Peters from Yorktown. Congratulations to Pammy. I don't know if you know Pammy. Pammy, if you're listening, congratulations. You just won a free pizza from Marco's, and you can redeem these free pizzas when the certificate arrives in the mail at these 6 locations that we've been talking about. And if you don't win tonight, you can sign up. Don't have to sign up more than once, but WTKR.com/Marcos. It won't take you but more than a minute or two to give us your name and address so we can send the certificate to you, but it is an easy way to win some free pizza. Okay, so we've got Pammy Williams and Richard Peters, Virginia Beach and Yorktown. We have Ronnie Eason of New Kent. My goodness. Well, Ronnie, I got good news and bad news for you, my friend. The bad news is it's about an hour and 20 minutes. I did a Google Maps for you. If you're going to Norfolk's Marco's store, the Ronnie trip, I mean, it's an hour and 20 minutes, but at least the pizza price is perfect. It's free. So if you have business here, you signed up for it, you happen to win, you might as well take advantage of the free pizza. Your certificate will also be mailed to you. Ronnie, I'm very glad that you won. Sharon Batista from Norfolk, also a winner tonight. Congratulations to you. You have won a pizza from Marco's. Congratulations to you. And we're going to keep on moving. I got number 7, number 8 in no particular order. That is Sherry Mercer from Virginia Beach. And Tijuana Heron from Hampton has just won a large pizza from Marco's. Congratulations. I mean, after Thanksgiving season, you might be tired of turkey. Maybe it's time now for some pizza, and you're happy to get the pizza. I know I would be anytime you can get some free pizza pie. Kind of nice, especially when it's as good as Marco's. And by the way, the last one here for the individual pizzas include 9 and 10. Tom Melling Sr., Virginia Beach. Congratulations to Tom. And last but not least, Virginia Campbell from Norfolk, a winner tonight, winning 1 free large Marco's pizza. So just checking in with you. Lynn Old is on here. Is that Lynn? Lynn says, Ronnie's my guy. Well, maybe. Okay, so cool. Lynn Old is cheering on Ronnie Eason. So there you go. Now, of course, the big winner is the pizza certificate for a year. Is going to one individual tonight. And I can tell you, we have to first, though, throw out some confetti. All right, this week's shortened week, big winner of the week, winning a free Marco's pizza for a year. I'm excited to tell you, happens to be Lynn Old of Virginia Beach. Wait a second, didn't I just see a message from Lynn Old? He said, Ronnie's my guy. No, Lynn, you're the guy. You are the guy. Now the question is, if you're watching still at this moment, you can pinch yourself because I think you're the first person, since we've been doing this since May, where the actual winner for the year, we've had some individual people who've been on, but you're the winner of the year that's actually engaging in me at this live time at 8:03. So I'm thrilled for you. Yes, Lynn, you are going to receive in the mail. If you haven't seen it already, it'll be probably in your doorstep or your mailbox in the next day or two. Lynn Old has just won free pizza for a year, so that looks like this. He's going to have his name in the upper left-hand corner. Congratulations, Lynn. Tell me, how does that feel? I mean, are you excited? Or you're like, okay. I mean, if you get it, obviously you'll get it before December's through. You can check that box, and then you're going to get a free pizza with 1 topping all the way through November once monthly. That is so sweet. I mean, that can save some money, especially on a pizza budget. If you eat pizza once a week, once a month, whatever, you will save significant money just from having that certificate. So really happy to give it out to somebody. Again, I have no control on the names that are selected, but when I saw your name on there, I was like excited. So I'm very excited. If you're on here, let me know. You can leave a follow-up comment. Kim Thompson Jones is congratulating Lynn. And Lynn is on here. We're excited that he's here. Awesome. Ashley say yes, she's like having free pizza. And I haven't forgotten the fact we're still focused on weather. I'm going to get that in about 30 seconds, but just wanted to give Lynn a chance to respond if he's on here still. But yes, he says he is. He's saying, I know. Yes, he's excited. So, Lynn, I hope you'll share it. This is a generosity. I'm just the messenger, right? Marcos wants to give this pizza out, and this is a great opportunity of community outreach. They've always given back as many years as I've worked with them, and I've worked with them before. Even I started working here at WTKR. But anyway, let me get back to the weather. Congratulations, Lynn. Congratulations to all of our individual pizza winners from Janice, Keith, Pammy, Richard, Ronnie, Sharon, Sherry, Tijuana, Tom, and Virginia. Very happy that you won some pizza. All right, we're going back to the weather because that's what we're here for. Notice the drop in the arrow there on Sunday. Sunday, we're going to drop like a stone. Now it's time for some trivia. How wide was the largest snowflake ever recorded? Now, if you watch the noon show, chances are you already know the answer. But I'm kind of curious, if you are engaged in having this conversation with me, I would love to know what you think. Is it A, 4 inches, B, 10 inches, or C, 15 inches? Question, how wide was the largest snowflake ever recorded? I will have the answer here in less than 20 seconds, maybe 30. Cindy Phelps is on here wanting to congratulate Lynn. So we got some people who are excited for you, Lynn. I'm very excited for you, my friend. Oh, and Cindy wants to know, how do you enter? It's real easy. All you have to do is go to our webpage, WTKR.com, and you can see, get the $5 Pozzoli, you're a winner tonight if you want to use that. But the WTKR/Marcos, WTKR.com/Marcos. And these are the 6 locations that will give you a $5 Pozzoli or the free pizza if you happen to win like Lynn just did. So we'll do it again next week. And next week is a normal week for me. I will be here Monday through Thursday next week. So that's the way it goes. Now, got some other notes. Kim wants to guess. Oh, I got a follow-up from Lynn. Lynn is saying, wait, there's more. Oh, wait, me too. I think he's excited. Anyway, I can't express or figure out necessarily the emotion that he might be having right now, but if it were me, I'd be thrilled. Like, I mean, you just happen to win 12 pizzas. That's 22 pizzas in total. 12 goes to Lynn, 10 goes to the other recipients. We're excited about that. Okay, so, I think I got a question answer here. I got Taj, who thinks it's B10, and I got Kim Thompson Jones, who's taking the alternative route with 15. You'll be surprised. Yes, it is 15. We'll go back to 1887, mind you. This was on January 28th in Montana. The Guinness World Records had a 15-inch wide snowflake. I know that's kind of crazy, but you have to think of it this way. This was a snow crystal aggregate. Very large, 15 inches. I don't know, in 1887, there's no photography of it, there's no photographs of it, but they called it a white puffball in the Guinness World Records. And rancher Matt Campbell, I think he's probably passed away, I would guess 1887. So I can't really ask Matt, hey, what did it look like? Did it pelt you in the face? Don't know, but it was 8 inches thick. So 15 inches wide, 8 inches thick, I would think that would hurt. I don't know about you. But that is part of the weather statistics by way of the Guinness World Records. I can't make this stuff up. Thanks to Tony Nargi for coming up with that question today during the noon show. Arctic cold air is rotating counterclockwise around the North Pole, but when we get that sudden stratospheric warming events that take place, it does a reversal. It does a displacement, and it will often push the cold air down. Because invariably, when it gets super cold next week, the question that everybody in your neighborhood is going to ask, why? It's because it happens this way, right? It pushes down. So I'm giving you an explainer time and time again so it doesn't surprise you. My job, so weather doesn't surprise you. First warning, right? When you have the first warning, you can make hay of it and say, oh, believe it when I see it. But if you got to jump start and getting all the firewood you need, if that's how you heat your home, then maybe you can work out a deal to get the best way to heat. Maybe a space heater is what you want for the holidays. I don't know. But you can clearly see there's more cold air on the way. The calendar and the time is at the upper right-hand corner. Look at this. I mean, just one piece of energy that comes down on the 11th, which is Thursday of this week, and then another lobe comes down by Sunday the 14th. And it will be like this, like a wedding receiving line, just one after the other, one after the other. It just keeps getting colder in the purple areas here. And eventually the models will figure it out and they'll have to adjust. Much like when you make a wrong turn on your Apple Maps, it says recalculating, buffering, recalculating. The models will figure it out, but you can't be a model worshiper. If you know, when I've shown you these maps before, I'm not showing you a picture. I'm not showing you a picture of a future scenario. This temperature here was the analysis on the 1st of December, meaning this is what they observed at 11 miles up. 11 miles up, it was in fire, in fuego, just north of Lake Superior. And so when that warm air is up there, it's going to push the cold air down. It'll take about 30 days. And that 30-day period will be around the first day of the new year, because this is December 1st. That puts New Year's Day, and maybe the days preceding it to Christmas are all on the table. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And then in a way, you won't be surprised. 39 degrees was our high temperature today. That's what I was forecasting. To be fair, Virginia Beach did hit 40. I said upper 30s near 40. You can't get any better than that. But look at this. This is shock value, right? Because I'm talking about getting really cold around Christmas and New Year's, and it's already 8.5 degrees below normal. And we're only 9 days old. 9 days old, one measly day, Tuesday the 2nd, we were 58, and that's the normal for that day. The normal high for December 2nd is 58 degrees, and we hit 58. So we've had 8 days now of below normal temperatures, and that's put us now about minus 8.5 roughly after today, below normal. I mean, could it get cold? I mean, sure, we'll get a warmer day tomorrow, but even at 52 here, that's still below the normal 56. So you're going to see a string of these blue squares, and you're going to see fewer red squares. Where I do see red is up in Minneapolis, St. Paul. They have, 105 minutes? What is that, an hour and 45 minutes delays in Minneapolis. Why are they getting delayed? Well, you be the scientist here. You can see it's snowing. It's snowing really hard around Minneapolis. So they're having some serious aviation problems, delays. They're having a hard time getting out of town. And I know they're a hardy bunch. You live in Minnesota any length of time. I have my college roommate from Chapel Hill. He lives not far, did for a long time around Wilmer, Minnesota. But Minnesota is a tough place to live. If you like extremes, you're in the right place. But they're getting quite a bit of snow there. Meanwhile, you go back to Chicago, it's changing over to rain. You go toward upstate New York, they've got some snow showers. Coming back home to Virginia Beach, it's just some clouds that will be breaking up by 11 o'clock and before more snow showers, or excuse me, more clouds rather, come back tomorrow morning. We'll expect maybe some snowflakes by Friday. Let's see here. Ashley has a follow-up question, and I'd like to stop and pause to answer some questions. I'll highlight so we know this is her voice here. Do you think we will have a really hot summer with the weather we're having? Not even thinking about it. Haven't even looked at next summer. I'm looking at right now, we have to get through the next front-end loaded winter. As I've said, November, which was Veterans Day, and again, my perspective was from Halloween. I said November and December would be, and the first 2 weeks of January would be our main winter. And then by the time we get past Dr. King Day and into February, winter would retreat. It's not to say we couldn't get some snow in February, we could. But you're going to see a little transition in the La Nina where it's becoming more neutral. I think we're going to pull back. So if you want snow, you got to get it now while it's getting good. And it's been good in places like Yorktown and in Williamsburg and in places like Wakefield over the last 24 hours, no doubt. So thank you for the question. Let me keep going because I know it is now 8:12 and I still got some maps to cover and also answer some questions from you. Temperature right now at 8:12 is 35, still above freezing for Norfolk, but we are below freezing. Newport News, Suffolk, and Chesapeake all at 30. Portsmouth at 33. Our friends in Poquoson are freezing. Smithfield freezing, while it's 37 in Nags Head, 35 in Currituck. Temperatures right now do not look all that cold, relatively speaking. We saw some 20s, low 20s here this time last night, but it is 26 in Richmond where they have some snow cover, snowpack on the ground. And there's that cold air. I like to just kind of advertise it's coming. It may not reach to Florida, but you can see it oozing in and just pouring down. And then where it's turned white, I mean, it's the Great White North for a reason. Look at that, just coming down. That's Sunday night at 11:30. That's the 14th. That's when you're going to be like, man, is it cold. My dog doesn't even want to go outside. It's so cold. That could be what you're experiencing early next week on Monday when the high temperature struggles to get to 36. Now, that doesn't mean it'll stay cold. Much like the tide at the beach, you get low tide in the morning, you get high tide in the afternoon, all on the same beach. It's the same way with the atmosphere. You got to look at the atmosphere. Here's an exercise. If you are a fan of weather, next time you look at the sky and you're oohing and aahing at the cloud formation, think of that, because it's water vapor, think of it as like the ocean. Think of it like it comes in waves, right? Sine and cosine. If you're a math fanatic, you like trigonometry, you're going to see this come and go. It's not going to necessarily be steady, but at least what we're seeing from, I believe, is now the 8 to 14. It's still below normal, but the coldest will be about the 15th, which is Monday. Now, Eastern Shore for tomorrow, about 48 in Onancock. Upper 40s for Saxes, Bloxham, and Chincoteague. Our friends in the Exmoor Diner, 48 tomorrow. 49 in Cape Charles. You're going to find a windy day. Temperatures in the mid-50s, however, for Kill Devil Hills and Nags Head. If you're in Manio or Wanchese, about 54. Duck, 55. Rodanthe, 55, although they'll be in the upper 50s most likely tomorrow. In Ocracoke and Hatteras. It is now 8:14. Storm Prediction Center. I like to highlight spots that might have some problems for severe weather. These are the risk categories for severe thunderstorms. I just don't see anything, and neither does our friends at the Storm Prediction Center. In fact, they have nothing colored on Wednesday and nothing to show you on Thursday. It's kind of rare, but it's not unheard of this time of year. Usually you can get some severe weather season in November to December, but haven't seen much in the last few days. So here's the Futurecast, and I do have some pause points tonight. I kind of blew through it yesterday, and I didn't mean to do that. But the clouds that are in place now, as of 9 o'clock, disappear. So this is 11 o'clock, you go, yay, it's going to be a sunny day tomorrow. Well, not so fast, because we might get clouds coming back, as it's kind of a blend, a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow morning, where it might be sunny in Elizabeth City at noon and Duck, but more clouds in Franklin and Ahoskie. It's just kind of the way it goes. But you can clearly see these are sustained winds coming up out of the southwest, a warm weather direction that'll push us into the low 50s. You head into about 11 o'clock tomorrow night, partly cloudy. I think it's a lot brighter on Thursday, mostly sunny, but it's colder. And it's coming down from the northwest. The winds have changed a little bit, but maybe not as strong. Now, the surface map really tells the story here, too. As you can see, we have an approaching storm system at 7 a.m. on Wednesday, where they are dealing with rain, maybe a mix in northeast Ohio. But for us, on Wednesday morning, it's kind of a mix of sun and clouds. This moisture, as we head toward midday, takes snow into northern PA and northern sections of New York State. And then this front changes to an ugly mix. I mean, it's messy. It's not severe weather, but icy mix there in pink in central Ohio and western PA and mountains of West Virginia may not be a welcome sight. That's 5 o'clock tomorrow. Then once we move into Thursday, we have this cold air reinforced. That's why we're only in the 45, 43 for highs Thursday and Friday, but it's kind of chilly. And then we have our next storm system. This would bring in potentially some flakes. What day? This would be on Friday. So if you look closely, on Friday morning, it's snowing in Huntington and Charleston and maybe Lexington, Kentucky. But does it make it to Hampton Roads? You be the judge. Does it make it by 11:30 or noon? Well, I see a little bit of a mix here. Looks like some of this is trying to move into drier air, and it may have a hard time getting established. Do I expect this Friday to be like what we had last night? Nope, I don't. Even though this model would suggest it's kind of on the doorstep of the peninsulas, but I really think you're going to be short or maybe not impressed with what eventually comes to pass. This would suggest here that it's a little bit brighter maybe toward Richmond, but we'll have to wait and see. There's still some time to fine-tune Friday. But tomorrow morning, we're about 29 North Carolina, 33 Peninsulas, 30 Southside, about 26 in Franklin, 34 Cape Charles, and 29 in Gloucester. I've showed you these numbers already, but 28 Chesapeake, 27 Moyock, about 10 degrees warmer for Corolla, Nags Head at 37. High temperatures tomorrow, 51 for the peninsulas, North Carolina 53, Southside 52. I'm still expecting upper 40s, however, for Colonial Williamsburg, Franklin, and Wakefield. They still have some snow to melt, I'm sure in many cases. 49 Cape Charles, 55 for Duck, Elizabeth City at 53. Our friends in Moyock, about 52 degrees. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. So 45 on Thursday, Stray flakes and drops, we'll fine-tune that tomorrow and in the days to come. Make sure you tune in to WTKR.com and follow along on the newscast side as well. Mostly sunny Saturday. I think this is still a great-looking day. And while I am seeing some precipitation possible on Sunday, let me be clear, what it appears to be doing is like a 7-10 bowling split. It looks like some of the energy is going to South Carolina, some of it's going to Pennsylvania, so I don't see a whole lot. The front's coming through. It'll drop the temperatures like a stone, but there may not be anything. Like I said, cold air is dry. It's inherently dry, so I'm not expecting a whole lot before the shoe drops. The shoe will be dropping once we wake up Monday morning, and some of you are at 20, 19, 22, 23, and a high that struggles to reach 36 degrees. By Tuesday, it could be just as cold in the morning, but bouncing back up with bright sun around 43 degrees. Let's check in with some cool, happy shots. This is from our friend Brian Smith. This is from Williamsburg in this morning. Beautiful using the drone. He kind of really captured the essence of the beauty that is in Williamsburg. Williamsburg in. Thank you, Brian. Charles Terrell, a downtown Newport News snow this morning. Love it. You can see, obviously, the glow in the morning sky here. Thank you so much, Charles Terrell, for sharing that with us. And you can see some snow still lingering maybe on the sidewalks from earlier today. Matthews County this morning. Breathtaking. I'm sure by the water, Charles captured this beautiful shot. Maybe there's still some snow in some areas, but thank you, Charles, for sharing that with us from earlier today. So there's the first warning weather forecast. 52 tomorrow, 45 on Thursday. Just checking in to see if you have any other further thoughts before I sign off. I want to thank you for your time. Lynn Old is maybe very happy. I guess he's excited. Maybe he's got to be excited. He's got free pizza coming. And he's probably thinking all of his friends now know that he's got pizza. So you're going to have new friends come out of the woodwork, Lynn. I hope you're okay with that. I say that jokingly, but I hope you have a great opportunity to use it. Let's see here. Joshua Armstrong has a follow-up question. He is asking, I'll want to underline it because it's more involved. He says, I thought La Nina meant a warm winter. So why are we having such cold temperatures? Do you think eastern North Carolina will get a good snow like since we're in La Nina? The opportunity is there. I've said it before, Joshua. If I were baking a cake, I need certain ingredients. I need butter. I need flour. I need certain ingredients. The most obvious ingredient all of us need for snow is cold air. And so I'm letting you in on a little secret that this cold Arctic air that's going to be blasting down in response to a sudden stratospheric warming event, which is naturally occurring, is going to push some of that cold air down. And I think as warm air rises, cold air sinks, we still have opportunities. The game is on. But it doesn't always necessarily blanket that just because it's, there are different degrees of La Nina. There's the weak, the moderate, the strong. So if you do some research, you can find it on Google. You'll find that there's different degrees and different things. So I don't go into all the details of why I came up with my expectation of 3 to 7 for Norfolk, but we're already up to an inch. Right? I just have 2 more inches to go, and I will say ding, ding, ding. I'm trying to get within the uprights. Some of you had 3 to 7 just yesterday. I get it, but it's a very diverse and very expansive area when you're talking about the eastern shore, the northern neck, all the areas around here. It's just varied. It just tends to be. And of course, Elizabeth City got like 1.1 inches of snow. One of our neighborhood reporters, one of our neighborhood weather watchers, I should say, in Coral Peak had 2.25 inches of snow. So it just depends on where you are in North Carolina. Some had more. And then even on the Veterans Day, there were a couple of spots in North Carolina that got 2 inches, 1 and 2 inches in the pre-dawn hours of Veterans Day. Check it back. You can probably find it on Facebook where that was the case. Anyway, just remember, it doesn't matter if it's sunny or snowy. It doesn't matter if it's serious. Just know that the weather happens as it happens. Just know that every day that you're given, that I'm given, it's a gift. And if you got some free pizza out of it today, even better. But I will say thank you so much for your time. We'll be back next week. A little programming note. We'll be back next week, but I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great night. Take care.